Okay, so right now, today, we are going to be annotating for characterization again, but this time we are going to be analyzing the character of Tituba. Now, remember, Tituba is a slave from Barbados. She basically was stolen from Barbados and brought here to work. She is a very intelligent woman. She has a thick dialect because she comes from the Caribbean. So sometimes readers initially assume that because her dialect is not something we are familiar with, that she is naturally not smart, which is false. That is wrong. She is a very observant woman. So the scene that we're going to be analyzing is when Abigail realizes that she's kind of losing control and people are accusing her of being a witch. And so Abigail, uses Tituba as basically a scapegoat. A scapegoat is somebody who gets blamed for everything and gets pinned and takes the brunt of everything. Tituba is an easy target because she's of color and she's a slave. So Abigail's word is just simply worth more than Tituba's word. But Tituba is very smart and she's observant. So in the scene that we're going to begin looking at, Abigail's freaking out because everybody's pointing fingers at her. And so Abigail, like I said, looks around and it was like, I want to get the attention off of me and I'm somebody else. So we're going to take those 3 steps that I showed you last video when annotating and analyzing characterization. So I'm going to share my screen. So what we're going to look at are these vocabulary words again. And just as a refresher, we're going to be identifying if the textual evidence is the way that somebody speaks, their thoughts, the effect on others, their actions, or their looks. Now, just as a reminder, a lot of times what they say and how they act can be interchangeable because this is a play. So almost everything is said. So a lot of times you have to imagine the person is doing what they're actually saying. So sometimes you might see me put speech/actions because you could analyze it from both perspectives. Okay, so I'm looking at excerpt number 3. And like I said, I already introduced the scene. And we have Hale and Abigail and all these people are in a circle. Paris, and they all want answers. They want answers. They're starting to freak out. And Abigail says, I never sold myself. I'm a good girl. I'm a proper girl. Mrs. Putnam enters with Tituba, and instantly Abigail points at Tituba. Abigail says, she made me do it. She made Betty do it. Tituba, shocked and angry, says, Abby, she makes me drink blood. Harris, blood? Mrs. Putnam, my baby's blood? Tituba, no, chicken blood. I give she chicken blood. Okay, so let's look at that little post-it note from last video. The 3 steps we need to take. Identify which one of the 5 methods of indirect characterization are in this piece of evidence. Select a good adjective or adjectives to describe the person. And explain why the person is the above adjective in the evidence. Well, here I picked 2 pieces of evidence that I kind of want to put together. The fact that Tituba was shocked and angry, Abby, tells me something about her. And this isn't definitely an action, but she also says, no, chicken blood. I give she chicken blood. So I'm going to kind of mush these together and highlight them both pink for characterization. Well, what does this show? When someone is genuinely shocked at being accused of something they didn't do, and then immediately says, no, it was chicken blood. She's very honest. She says it directly. And her behavior also tells me that she's very honest. So I'm going to insert. And I'm going to do these 3 steps. Open it up so you can see it a little bit better. Okay. Open. I'll just open a new one. Okay, so Abby's actions, or sorry, Tituba's actions. Tituba's actions. What's the next step? Select a good adjective. I said honest. Show she is honest. Why does this evidence show that she's honest? Because Tituba is in such disbelief that Abigail would say something like that about her. Now you have to remember, Tituba's been around for a long time. Tituba's basically like their nanny or their caretaker. Tituba's helped raise Abigail. So for Abigail to accuse her of something like that is just awful. So what I'm going to do here, because when I go to write, I want to use both of these together. I'm just going to make a note and say, add this evidence to the above analysis. So now I know that I want to merge these 2 together with an ellipses when I go to cite it and write it. All right, let's do this one more time for Tituba. So as Abigail is accusing Tituba of basically being a witch, everybody starts to jump on board because everybody wants to accuse somebody. Somebody has got to take the fall. And Tituba, again, is a scapegoat and an easy target. So as the scene progresses, Tituba says she becomes really frightened by the coming process. Mr. Reverend, I do believe somebody else bewitching these children. Frightened by the coming process. Tituba knows what's happening. She's not stupid. She knows that she's getting blamed for something and she knows why. So she defends herself in the scene. She defends herself. She says she doesn't do it. She hasn't done it. She's not a witch. But eventually she succumbs because she knows that if she does not admit to being a witch, she will be killed. But if she admits to being a witch, if she says, get the devil out of me, then she will be spared and they will save her life. So once Tituba realizes the coming process, she lies to save her life. Now, we could say that this evidence shows that Tituba is a liar, but she's being forced into the lie. So if we look over here, a word that would describe Tituba might be intelligent or sensible. Sensible means she has sense in her brain. She knows what's happening. So I'm going to say that Tituba's action show that she is sensible because she realizes that her efforts to be honest are futile, remember, worthless, So she says what she knows they want to hear to save her own life. So we did the 3 steps. We identified which type of indirect characterization it is. It's actions. I'm going to underline it. The next step, select a good adjective. She is sensible. And I also threw in the word futile, which is one of our vocabulary words as well. And why is she characterized as a sensible person with futile efforts? Because she knows what they want to hear and she says it to save her own life. Okay, so you should try to characterize Tituba one more time in this excerpt, because there's a lot of good evidence that really tells you a lot about what type of person she is and what people are doing to her.